Okay, welcome again to Naples Underground. My name is Luis. The history of this place starts 15,000 years ago with eruptions of a volcano, volcanic lake, which could be translated as incandescent fields or fields of flames. It's a collapsed volcano on the other side of Naples, which still fumes off like a smoking gun. It's one of the 4 most dangerous volcanoes on Earth. It's an active volcano. It practically flooded many eruptions of the whole region with lava, and we are now submerged 40 meters in this lava, which is called tough rock in English or tufo rock in Italian. It's great for construction, very light, water permeable, and very porous. That's why the natural acoustics. 4 centuries before Christ, Greeks came from the nearby Greek community of Kuma, and the Cumans decided to build a new city with this rock right here. New city in Greek, Neapolis. Nea, new, polis, city. How to build buildings? The Cumans would dig first. Whenever you see a well that is a peripheral, that means it was used as an entrance or exit. Central wells would be to extract stones. So they dug these square wells, 35 to 40 meters square wells, to extract construction material. They came down to where the rock is softer to work on. In this step, it behaves like a very hard mud or a very soft rock. You can scratch it with your nails. Anyone with a hammer and chisel can do a lot in a very short period of time. It absorbs and keeps the water like a sponge. When you extract a block or a brick, you take it to the surface against the elements, it becomes hard and black. When you cut it, it becomes yellow because it has a lot of sulfur in it. On street level, against the elements, it becomes black and oxidates. So, first wells, then caves, according to the size of the building they wanted to build, construct. They gave these caves trapezoidal shapes or arc shapes that wanted the way to fall to the side. And whatever they dug the wells, they wouldn't build anything in some perimeter on street level. They wanted nothing to be standing on empty space. So the well, the cave, the buildings. When they finished, they just moved to another site, made another well, another cave, another buildings, to the point where the old city of Neapolis had a huge network of wells and caves beneath, which were negative of the old city. The bigger the cave, the bigger the construction, ideally on top. Why not just a big mine? They already had in their plans to convert this into an aqueduct. Later on, they interconnected these caves with narrow tunnels. They knew of the capillary principle. The narrower the tunnel, the faster the water would travel through it, even uphill. They wanted to reach high places with the speed of the water. They diverted waters from a river into this aqueduct where it gained speed and then to the ocean. The Romans expanded the city and the aqueduct, but this aqueduct continued to grow into the Renaissance to the size of 476 square kilometers of an aqueduct beneath Naples and Naples province. Of these 400, today we will know 1 square kilometer. So what you see today, multiply it for 400 to have an idea of the size of this. For 2,300 years, this was an efficient aqueduct. The water was clear, it was pure, it was drinkable. It reached every place up until 1884. They built a sewage system on top. The city desperately needed the sewage system. This was a growing city and a growing Rhine. This was a Spanish Rhine, the Rhine of the 2 Sicilies. It was the south of Italy, the island of Sicily. They used all the wells. What happens? The black waters of the sewage would permeate the rock and contaminate the waters of the aqueduct. 1884, a cholera epidemic. 1885, they just closed the aqueduct. The same way they opened it, they just rediverted the waters of the river back to the ocean. We ended up with an empty aqueduct and many open wells. In this 1 square kilometer, we have almost 40. So they used all the wells since 1885 up until World War II as construction debris waste deposits, or rubbish from construction. Today, we walk on 5 to 6 meters of rubbish everywhere. In World War II, they decided to pave on top of this rubbish so to be able to use these spaces as anti-air raid shelters. They also built the stairs we used to come here. Before, the only entrance were wells like this. You cannot see it because there's a huge pillar made of stone beneath. But peripheral wells with little holes in the sides that the well workers would find up and down, 35 to 40 meters up from street level. So in World War II, they paved on top of the street. They closed all the wells due to constant bombardment. Naples was one of the most bombarded cities in World War II. We were scared that some bombs would fall into the aqueduct and explode inside. It happens, but not all the way. I'll show you if you please follow me this way. Now, as I told you, in World War II, they closed all the wells except one or two for aeration. For example, this is a closed well. It's a huge pillar made of concrete beneath the well. The well on top is empty, look at the entrance. If a bomb destroyed the plumbing and left the open well, which another bomb could take advantage of, the pillar was a second line of defense. Well, they left this one open. They left two wells open in World War II in this area. The other one is in the station of Toledo, which you can see in the subway station through the road. And these are the cloisters of the Basilica of San Paulo Maggiore, right by Naples, Subterraneo. They didn't think that they would bombard religious places, but they did anyways. At some point in World War II, front planes, 2 bombs were dropped. They entered this well together, 36-meter well. Turning with their tails, they got entangled. They lost speed. When they hit the ground, no tip of the bombs, which are the detonators, hit the ground, so they did not explode. But they are deactivated now. So these two are American bombs. Well, this one, I cannot tell you. Naples was bombarded by the Allies, when Italy changed plans, which was bombarded by the Nazis. 200 air raids on the city, 28,000 bombs. That's the calculation. Out of 28,000, 3 bombs to wells would be actually less than what's statistically expected. The miracle is that none of the 3 bombs exploded. If you want to take pictures of the well, you can also see the reflection here. Okay, these are obvious led by people here when 5,000 people found refuge into 1 square kilometer. So imagine the whole continent was 150,000. This car on the right would be a later condition. This is more from 1950s. Well, this one here is original from those days. You can imagine if they brought rich kids' toys, imagine they brought everything they needed for survival. Chairs, tables, furniture in general. They even had the electrical connection in World War II. They even had light. But due to 3 main reasons, claustrophobia, hydrophobia, and the smell of the bathroom, many people decided to stay outside even with the bombardment. As you can see in the neighborhood of Sanita of Naples. These people, their houses were bombarded. They didn't want to enter the afterlife. I also wanted to show you this mortar on the wall. This is a mixture of powder, touchstone, lime, vegetable oil. This is the way that the Romans waterproof grease systems to control the level of the water throughout the year. They waterproof, of course, there were also in the bottoms. But the bottoms, you have to imagine, is 7 meters deep. The water was running on dead level. It was a river flow accelerated by narrow tunnels of the aqueduct, not by gravity itself. So it was dangerous to fall. On the other side, so the level of the water was the red one, and then on these pathways, the well water will come and get the installed filters to filter the surface of the water. The well waters of this aqueduct in the first century was a race of people that reached the drink from one place in Crimea. They were called the Scenarios. They were short and strong, they performed poses that needed in underground, and they were aficionados miners. They used a special outfit for cold and humidity, which was long with that. make them look like small mountains. Inside the tunnel, so when the cat waits, they would walk the line and they would tie just one rope. It was easier to rescue someone who fell. But they look like small mountains. They just look like they were dots and water. So this project is called the Hypogeum Gardens. We take advantage of the high humidity of this rock, which absorbs and keeps the water like a sponge. So the humidity goes from 70 to 95%. We never water these plants, they just absorb humidity from the environment. Some of them are attacked by fungus, which is normal 40 meters underground, and the humidity is too much for some of them. We need the light. We turn these coal lights on at 6 a.m. and turn them off at 8 p.m. As you can see, they flower, they thrive, they don't live as long as plants outside. This is a school project in which they planted seeds. You can see the water. It comes from the environment. And this is my seed, Luigi. So a similar project in the same conditions was sponsored by pizzerias of the area, in which they grew basil. Later on, using the basil leaves for the margarita pizza. They told us that the flavor and the aroma were more intense, and the reason is less contamination. Now, the margarita pizza was a present for Queen Margarita of France on her official visit to Naples in the Palace of Caserta. That is the most popular story about the development of margarita pizza. It's just the colors of the Italian flag, the red tomato sauce, the white mozzarella cheese, and the green leaves of basil. The real genius of the margarita pizza is the combination of flavors, not the colors, which makes margarita pizza the most popular in Naples. It includes mozzarella di bufala. This is a mozzarella from a subspecies of the African buffalo. You can call it the European buffalo. As ugly and black as the African buffalo. The same cheese from a cow is called milk flour or fior di latte. So when you ask for pizza, any pizza, ask for mozzarella di bufala. That's the flavor you want, even if you have to pay 5 more euros. Okay? That's the flavor you want. Ask for mozzarella di bufala and move your hands like this. They sell it to you in salted water. You put it in the fridge, the flavor changes. Any process of import-export will change the flavor. So improve your visit to Naples and try the real mozzarella di bufala. Sometimes they make you a pizza with mozzarella di bufala, and then when they take the pizza out, they put a big bowl of fresh mozzarella to try the flavor. The first time I tried mozzarella di bufala, I passed out. Please make space for this group.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. The next is the aqueduct. As I told you, the Greeks made these tunnels very narrow because they wanted to increase the water speed. 40 to 60 centimeters. At some point, we need to walk sideways. 80 to 100 meters long. On the way, we will see some cisterns, big ones like those, lighted, but the tunnels are dark, narrow, and curvy. We need to use our phone lights. Before, they used to use candles. Sorry? Someone made a question? So the first couple of meters is only low, then 10 meters on average, just 2-3 meters. If you don't want to enter, you don't have to stay outside, wait for us. We make a circuit and come back in 15 minutes, 1-5. Or if you enter and you realize this is not for you, don't push people behind you. Just use the emergency exit. 10 meters into the tunnel to your right, all lighted up. You take it, you will be back at the entrance. But the emergency exit is narrow. Can I just designate one person to be the last one? Who wants to be the last one? Last one? Okay, sir.
Do you have down at any one time? Yeah.
peripheral wells with holes in the sides, which they would climb up and down with their hands and feet. 35 to 40 meters to and from street level. They used special outfits for cold and humidity, which was along with that push, which made them look like small monks. They didn't have a salary, people would just hire them for any jobs on street level, gardener, fountaineer, you call it. If you didn't pay them well, or if you didn't pay them, they would just make a group of small people enter houses and move furniture. They would also play robin hood, take from the house of the rich into the house of the poor. Now, people would find valuable objects in their houses, and they knew it was a potsaro, so they saw these guys as miraculous. Sometimes an unwanted pregnancy, they would name the potsaro, and the child was seen as miraculous. Over time, because of the way they looked, because of the things they did, they could enter or leave any wells. Many people had private wells. As a matter of fact, the first cistern we will see inside the tunnel belonged to an ancient Greek house. With the house, there are no traces, but the well and the cistern are exactly the same. So, over time, they scared people. Small-looking, monk-looking men. Over time, they gave birth to the legend or the fantasy of the monasterio. The monasterio is a small monk ghost of Naples. It's a traditional ghost of Naples. The ghost is the potsaro, the ghost. The best place to see this ghost, I tell you this because there are no children, is the aqueduct. So if you see one, let me know. I'm going to register it. Okay? But please don't laugh. Now, whoever wants to stay here, just wait for us 15 minutes.
This fucking good. What year did you...
Good thing you haven't grown since the last time.
Okay, since the official closing of this aqueduct in 1885 up until 1952, the nuns of Santa Patricia would use this as a wine cellar. They made red and white wine. The wine aged in this tufo rock. Tufo is the name in Italian for top rock. The wine aged in tufo rock is called tufelo. Tufelo wine, you will see it on street level. We have it, red and white. Back in those days, it was the wine used for Catholic masses. But the wine that was not to be consecrated and food that they would preserve in olive oil or vinegar, the nuns would sell from the convent. That was the entrance straight from their convent. They were cloister nuns. People could not see them, so they used lazy Susan to sell their products. People from all over Naples would come and buy their products, and all people in Naples still have these jars at home, these porcelain jars that the nuns used to sell their products. On the jars you will see an inscription, Saint Gregory of Armenia, or San Gregorio Armeno in Italian, because they host relics of this Armenian saint who was decapitated in the 2nd century. The nuns have in a chapel of their church the skull of San Gregorio, and they also have the body of their mother, the bones. Santa Patricia used to be a queen of Constantinople, who in the 7th or 8th century she was, her ship wrecked in front of the coast of Naples. She stayed in Naples and she decided to give everything she had to the poor. That's how she became Santa Patricia. Before she was just Patricia. So if you have money, you know what to do. So what you should do with your money?
Donate it to charity.
Great. Look at it. This is an example of one. What's your name?
David.
Huh?
David.
So you could be one day Saint David.
Yeah.
Don't laugh at him. Maybe he's good in your bed.
Yeah.
So this was the entrance of the nuns, and this was the entrance of the Franciscan friars of San Lorenzo, who would also make wine and food. If you go straight on this one, you will find yourself beneath the Basilica of San Lorenzo, where you will still find today the old Roman markets, the macello. The macello used to be the meats and vegetables Roman market. It was a steel market back in those days. Macellum, from macellum comes the word in Italian for butcher, which is macellaio, which comes from a big butcher's hand, macello. This rock is a natural refrigerator. There are never big flows on street level because the rock just absorbs the water and it keeps it like a sponge. That's why it never rains in the aqueduct. The temperature goes from 4 to 18 degrees Celsius throughout the year. The maximum is 18 degrees. It's a pleasure to work here in the summer. The minimum that the center of the earth allows is 4 degrees. And humidity from 70 to 95%. Perfect for wine aging, cheese aging, meat aging. As a matter of fact, when they came down here in World War II, they only came to where the food was, in many parts of this aqueduct. Now, we're going back to street level 132 steps. In the middle, we'll take a break. Then another break on street level where you will see the wine, not made by the nuns anymore, but by a company. We have it red and white. It's €5. People say it's too much, €5 is too much. But if you drink the whole bottle, it's not so much. It doesn't mean you have to drink the whole bottle at once. So, coffee, we have the traditional Napolitan coffee, which is not instantaneous. You need to buy the Italian coffee maker, the two-body coffee maker. Books in Italian about the history of Naples and the undergrounds. If you don't speak Italian, don't worry. Just buy the books, learn Italian, and then read. And we also have a small museum of relics of war, which is uniforms and weapons of World War II. Not found here, but just relics of the day. We are resting for a minute or two, and then we walk in the streets of Naples, 200 meters around the Basilica of San Paolo Maggiore, to see what remains of the Greco-Roman theater of Naples. And if you want to take pictures, be my guest. Wait for you.
Definitely not designed for me, this place. It's definitely not designed for me.
Ja.